Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? This is again the Hustle Bee. Welcome back to Seller Club Podcast. And today we have a special guest, and we're gonna let him do the honors to
drop the beat.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Currently, we are here at eBay headquarters, and we get the honor to talk to somebody in the category of streetwear. So, William, why don't you introduce yourself and your role here at eBay?
Thanks, Ken. It was great talking to you yesterday for eBay Open Stuff. So, really appreciate this opportunity. I'm William Zhang. I'm the category lead of streetwear here at eBay. Streetwear is a new focus category for eBay under the fashion team, and it can be a lot of things, but how I like to characterize it is we're trying to push trendy fashion towards a younger consumer. So my primary goal is to help make eBay the best place to buy and sell clothes for Gen Z on the internet. So
it's awesome. As you might suspect, William does look really cool. They can't see you, but I can. So I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, what am I wearing? How would you describe it?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm from the St. Louis area. So you're wearing the St. Louis Blues, blue and yellow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's other people's blue and yellow too. Yeah. But like this really cool, like vertical striped shirt with a collar, cool like yin yang necklace. He's like super cool. Like you would look at him and be like, yes, he knows about fashion.
Yeah, he's
the credibility is there for sure.
It's there. It's a statement. And when he's walking around here, he's really cool. I mean, actually shared a few pretzels with him earlier.
Oh, we did. Yes.
A few pretzels.
A few pretzels. Yeah. Well, I saw that you guys were having pretzels, and I was like, I got to get in on this.
100%.
So I came over, and I slightly groveled, but was able to get a pretzel.
Well, talking about pretzel, William, I feel like I ask everybody this. What's your favorite snack?
My favorite snack?
Yeah.
I think it's like, it depends on the season, sort of. But like right now, I have like a tube of spicy sour cream and onion Pringles at home. And I think that's like a new thing for them.
I don't think I've tried that.
Yeah. Oh.
Right. So that is a thing. I love stone fruit. So whenever there's like plums or peaches in season, like right now, I'm like a big stone fruit person.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you like big on trying a new thing when you see like, oh, Pringles has this new flavor? You always try the new stuff?
I do. I do like Pringles a lot, actually. And I feel like I was, born to eat chips or something. So I'm like constantly
so relatable.
Chips.
Yeah. See, he's guys, like, see, the people that work in eBay are also human. We're eat
human.
Chips.
We eat chips. Yeah. I love stone fruit.
And pretzel.
Yeah.
Like I love Northern California. So yeah.
Awesome.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. And we talked a little bit about trends and fashion in a streetwear category breakout. What have you seen currently lately in the trends?
Yeah,
and what's maybe what you like, and personally, what are the fashions that you like?
Totally, yeah.
Trends that's currently up.
I think so. Being like the streetwear category lead, a lot of people, their mind immediately goes to like Supreme. They'll go to like Off-White,
the hype stuff.
And originally, when we positioned the category, that's really what it was based off of. Like those high resale items, trending items from those brands that like have limited releases and drops. But I think it's changed a little bit. Maybe it's the rise in the internet. Maybe it's like the way that people want to express themselves. It feels like there's room for everyone in streetwear now, where I think you and I talked about this yesterday.
Yep.
Like, for example, there's running as this new category where it's like we're seeing it take over in sneakers, where it's like ASICS is way up.
Yeah.
We're seeing it across the board at different marketplaces when we do our research on eBay. We're seeing that kind of like be a really big thing. And I think it has to do with like the lifestyle of running. So people have started doing that more. They're like going out and meeting people in run clubs.
Run clubs are big.
It's really big.
Yep.
And then like Nike and other kind of like companies that are known for that will push products specifically for running and kind of like help people express themselves in a lifestyle way. So it's kind of like, and it's not just running. Like there's golf. Like golf is a really big moment. I think like you're a prototypical golfer when you imagine him, honestly, in your head is like this like old white dude, honestly.
That would be the general assumption.
An older white gentleman, right? Who's been golfing for a long time, and they like get together to like do business on the field, right? Or on the golf course. But I think now like there's a resurgence of like people of color who are golfing more, younger people who are
Younger
golfing
people
more,
for sure. I mean,
women who are
even-
golfing
yeah.
more. So it's like
I have seen a few influencers actually kind of like document on them how to learn golf, and it is pretty interesting. And I was like, you would never imagine that before. And also tying it back to fashion, what they're wearing is not the typical, right? The typical slacks and pants, and now there's like all the funky colors.
Yeah.
Now there's all
Totally,
the limited
yeah.
A lot more
edition.
personal expression.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, going with brands, even Jordan brand have made more retros that are for golf,
Right.
and has spikes. So I think those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool that
Yeah.
now we're talking about fashion, streetwear. It ties into sneakers, which is really my main category initially. So what do you think about that? Like, what about what could you advise sellers that are in one category only?
Yeah, streetwear is a unique category in that most of the GMV, like GMB, gross merchandise bought, that we generate as a category, or that streetwear customers generate, are outside of the streetwear category. So the stat that we like to say, and this is IR approved, is that for every $1 that a customer spends in the streetwear category, they spend $5 elsewhere. So it's kind of
Yes.
like people in the streetwear category are really eclectic. They kind of like want to express themselves
Right.
through
Across the
all
board.
of
Yeah.
eBay's different offerings, because there's so much stuff on eBay. So I'd say that like if you are currently a one category seller, just think about what you like personally. Like Ken, you and I talked about this. Like you love Nike ACG because you have like a personal connection to that.
Yeah.
It's all about like you're a real person. Remember that like your customers are real people.
Right.
They want to interface with someone who they can like relate to. And so just go with stuff that you like. And I
Yeah.
think like you'll have more fun sourcing it if you like it. There's definitely a market for it.
Yep.
Because like traditionally eBay can be really hard to navigate for buyers.
Right.
I think what does really well on eBay right now is like trading cards or sneakers and
Yeah.
handbags. Even
Very focused,
when
right?
someone comes in with a very specific search term
Yeah.
in mind, they're like out in the world. They want to get that Dior saddlebag.
Yeah.
They type in Dior saddlebag on eBay to look for the result and look for exactly what they're looking for. But within fashion and streetwear, like I didn't know I wanted this like
Right.
polo
Until you saw it, right?
until I saw it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Like, so, you know, you said before, like kind of at the beginning of streetwear as a category, it was more about these specific brands that had really limited releases and stuff. But like, do you see more of it shifting to like, this is a style or like this is an aesthetic that people are looking for a style or, and then
Yeah.
kind of browsing within that style? Or
Totally. I
is there
think it's
something
like-
besides style that's big?
Right. I think a lot of it has to do with style. And I think in the like right now in our like internet environment, it's really easy to come across content from people you don't necessarily follow. So
Yeah.
it's like it's like for you content.
Right, right,
Yeah.
And a
right.
lot of that for you content in the fashion space like centers around these different aesthetic worlds.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, maybe you've heard of like cottage core.
Yeah.
Right now,
Yeah.
like corporate core is this thing that's
Yeah.
like people are starting to wear like business casual at the club again. Is
Right.
like what we're
Yes.
saying. But
Like, it's the
there are all these
90s.
new. It's the 90s,
Yeah.
2000s, 80s even, right?
Yeah,
But
80s
there are
even,
all
yeah.
these like aesthetic worlds where they're represented by different like cores, we're calling them these days. So it really is like people are inspired to browse for like that specific aesthetic that they're looking for.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's like it's style, it's brand, its price is a really big
Right.
thing. But
For sure.
I think at eBay, what we're trying to do is make it a lot easier to browse for things. So like going back to the Dior saddlebag example, and this shirt like that I'm wearing, it's hard for customers right now to find this shirt that I'm wearing, but we're trying to use generative AI. We're trying to use like different tools at our disposal to like make it easier to browse and explore on eBay.
Right.
And also table stakes things like make it easier to browse your size in particular. We just launched this new, if you download the eBay app and you look at the very top of your eBay app, it'll say explore. You should definitely click the explore page because
That's
we've,
kind of like curated. It
Exactly.
could be curated. I mean, I remember
Exactly.
this thing when you download the Nike app or something like that. What's the sport that you were into,
exactly.
and what's and your feed will get curated to what you are interested in, and over time,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
It
I'm
learns
sure
more.
it learns more and stuff
That's
like that.
cool.
I think that's the cool thing about it. And we, is there any I wish this is a wish list, right? Maybe you could take this as feedback. I wish there could be like shop.look kind of feature for fashion or for streetwear, because that would be cool.
I would love that. Not only would I love that, but we have a feature we do have something called Shop the Look.
Okay.
Which is, we're being very experimental with AI right now, and we're trying to help people discover and browse and feel inspired to shop, because I feel like that's really important when it comes to fashion. Basically, and this might sound a little wild, but we generate AI avatars and dress them based on specific aesthetics, and then you can check this out on your homepage today on the app. You look at it, shows you a picture that we generated through AI, and then you're able to shop the specific items in it. Right. So it'll match listings on the site with some of the items that you're seeing that we generated. So an example of this is we're really into like utility style right now.
I like that.
ACG, kind of like your exact vibe. And maybe there's like a utility vest on the avatar that we've generated. Right. You're able to click the utility vest, and then it'll populate listings that are similar to that vest. In the
because sometimes it might not be the exact same brand, but also other brands could carry it, and that, like it's kind of like you're preparing a fit for yourself without having to buy it yet. But that's when I guess you could start watching it, adding it to cart, and be like,
right, so it's like I think goes back to that like shopping fashion customers need to feel inspired to shop. So we're trying to make it a lot easier to browse and explore and like figure out what you want, because ultimately many of these customers aren't going to have an exact search term in mind. And that's why like when I'm selling clothes, in the listing title, I'll put preppy, I'll put Y2K, because a lot of these people, they kind of know that, okay, like there's this aesthetic that's like around the internet right now. I've heard of like cottagecore. Let me see what happens when I look up cottagecore in eBay search, right? But we want to even like take that onus away from the buyer. No search term. I just want to browse eBay. And right now, without all of these features to help make eBay a better place to browse and explore for fashion, it's like impossible to do so.
Yeah, because there's just so much.
Who would ever shop on eBay without a search term? It's crazy. But like every I keep saying shopping. Every fashion customer who wants to buy clothes is exactly that person. They don't have a search term in mind.
Yeah, you kind of want to see how it looks first, right? The browsing experience. So I mean, I keep saying experience, because it should be a shopping experience, because that's why they have displays in brick and mortars, right? Like they put a fit together for you, because you can just easily like, I want
for inspiration.
Yeah. Right. So that's kind of cool.
Yes, not everybody is as imaginative when it comes to making outfits.
Oh, that's so hard. I mean, for me, I'm just gonna be like, well, I start with shoes and then I build it up. And now I've made it easier. I just go shoes, pants, and black top. Right. That's always been my vibe.
Right. I think that's why people rely on brands so much, is like,
because they curate it for you, right?
Exactly. So because brands they exist in the aesthetic world. The best brands we know like have a very strong message, is like what kind of clothes they sell, kind of like what kind of lifestyle they're selling you.
Right.
And so it's like, if you like what you see, then you can always like go back to that brand as a starting point.
And like build upon
we see that reflected in our search data too. Like people are constantly looking up just a brand.
Yeah.
And like that's their search term, especially for clothes. Yeah.
I think Ken just gets like decision fatigue by the time he gets to the shirt, and he's like, I don't know, black.
Right,
I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm done. Yeah. I'm done choosing black.
And it's okay to have your go-to items. It's like everyone has their own personal style. And I think that's what's really exciting about this fashion moment, is that like more and more people are discovering fashion. There's not just one way to dress anymore. There's like a lot of different ways to dress in a valid way that like feels like current, that feels like me. Yeah.
There you go. Well, what is a brand or a style that's more popular now that's surprising to you?
Oh, yes. With this Y2K wave, I've noticed a lot of kind of throwback trends and throwback brands come back to life.
As a millennial, I too have noticed those.
Haven't you noticed?
Some of them make me cringe a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And this one might make you cringe. But I was like at 2nd Street. It's like this secondhand streetwear store. They're from Japan, and they just like opened a bunch of 2nd Streets here in the US.
Oh, cool.
And I live in San Francisco, and the one I went to prominently displayed in the front Ed Hardy t-shirt.
Oh,
wow.
And
I
it
almost
was-
said that brand.
It literally, yeah, we're on the same wavelength.
Oh
then.
wow!
And the
I've
Ed
seen
Hardy
somebody rock
t-shirt.
the whole jeans that has a big print in the back.
Totally, yes. The Ed Hardy on the
Yeah.
butt is like such a thing. It was $60 for an Ed Hardy t-shirt, which is like
What?
unreal to me.
Wow!
Right.
That
Which
is so
means
cool.
that, like, I don't know, go back into your closets and
I
see what you
know,
can
I
dig
know.
up.
Anna, go
Yeah.
back to your closet.
Yeah,
Whoa,
thanks,
whoa,
Ken.
whoa.
Thanks, Ken.
Yeah.
No, we were just talking about this earlier though about stagnant inventory. I'm like, or you could just wait 20 years, then it will be vintage and it will be back in style.
Truly.
And it'll be
Yeah.
expensive.
worth double. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
So
So,
long game.
yeah, that's a super long game. You know, get some weatherproof bins and just like
Right.
put it away for a while, and then I'll tell you when to take it back out.
Thanks.
But
I'll give you a call.
yeah, that's eBay's job, is for us to like let sellers know what to sell, all that stuff, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I personally have been rocking the True Religion jeans once again.
Oh.
And-
Nice.
yes,
Wow.
and I've been rocking the super low rise.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm a little scared of the super low rise, but that's personal.
Yeah, you know, just embrace it. You know, I think all bodies are valid. Like it doesn't.
true,
Yeah,
that's true.
everyone looks
There you
great.
go.
This is part of why so much more fashion is acceptable and normal now, like for people to dress in totally different ways. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
it's more
I
acceptance.
love that.
I love it.
It's really
Yeah.
accepting, and like there's no more. I feel like when we were in the 2000s, it
Yeah.
was like the brands that were like really in the spotlight or had a lot of say in what was fashionable.
Yeah.
They only cared about like skinny, like
Yep.
white
Yep.
women.
Yeah.
Blonde.
And now blonde, but now it's a lot wider. You know,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
casting a wide net. We're like, there's room for everyone. I feel like fashion is becoming more and more inclusive.
Yeah.
which is like great because it's great. And also at eBay, there's like a lot of different types of customers. So
Yeah, for sure.
That is exciting. Well, Anna, your turn.
All right. Well, I want to know one little question from you, or one little answer rather from you, and then I have a little lightning round for you.
All right.
So, what is your favorite thing that you've ever bought or sold on eBay? Because I know a lot of eBay employees also sell.
Yeah.
Are you one of them?
I am. So I'm
Oh.
trying to sell 100 items this year.
Awesome.
Wow.
That's
Right.
such a good goal.
That's a good goal.
Such a good
Yeah. I've sold 54 items so
Oh.
far. So I
goal. You're
am-
like right on track.
Yeah, with
Sorta.
Q4 coming up.
I know,
you
yeah,
said-
yeah, exactly. Based on the trend of my business, like
Yes.
I do see it. And I'm selling primarily clothes.
Okay.
Although,
Shocker.
yeah, shocker. And sometimes it's hard to get people to discover my listings. I'm like, this is a pretty good listing. I don't get why people don't like. But
Right,
anyway,
you're like,
promoted
wait,
listings.
my
blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
yeah, yeah.
Stuff is
I was gonna
awesome.
say you should use promoted listings.
I do. But as all of
You
you
should
guys
promote
know,
more. I'm just joking.
as all of you guys know, it feels addictive to use promoted listings. So watch out. I also sell
good.
magic cards because I like bought a booster
Oh,
box, and I was
cool.
like, it was so, I don't know. It like as a child, I loved Magic and Pokemon and that stuff. So
Yeah.
like having adult money and buying like my booster box
Oh my
and
gosh,
opening,
great
it was
feeling.
great feeling. But my favorite thing that I've bought recently is, I love vintage,
Same.
and I love eBay.
Same.
I'm sure a lot of you guys love eBay.
Yes.
So I have this like saved search for just like vintage eBay merch.
Okay.
And there's this really cool 100% leather jacket
Stop.
that says eBay in the old logo, which I love.
Stop.
Wait,
I didn't
it
know
says
this
eBay.
existed.
It's probably on my wait list. Did you buy it already? My watch
Your watch list? Maybe I bought it.
Oh,
and it
no.
says eBay Inventors Club. I don't even
Yes,
know what
I know
is.
that. I know what that is. I know what that.
Oh, now
I
you-
know.
Ken?
I know what you're talking
Now
about.
you'll have to share.
If anyone
I've
can tell
watched
me
it. I've
what
watched it
eBay
before.
Inventors Club is, please let me know.
I've
I'm
watched
gonna
it.
find out.
Thank you.
I'm gonna find out.
It
for
was
you.
only $20. So
Stop
yes,
it. Are you
I know.
kidding?
I know.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
this is now my favorite thing anyone's bought on eBay lately,
Yeah.
and I didn't even buy it.
Maybe I'll wear it during eBay Open
You should.
Please
Q&A.
do it.
I will.
Please
I'll
do
wear
it.
So that is
That
my
is
favorite thing.
sick.
Yeah, it's sick.
Congratulations.
And then what did I sell? Oh, it's always it's a rush when you like win a raffle on like some like shoe, some like sneaker drop, and then
Yeah.
you sell it on eBay. Like feels really good.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I did that as something I sold.
There you
Awesome.
go.
Or actually, I also sold like, diamond in the rough, like Coach bag in the corner of a thrift store. I was like, that's going to sell for a lot. And I bought it for
Yes.
$8 and I sold it for like $128.
Heck
so
yes.
that was the
Money.
best feeling.
That's when you put.
Yep.
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
That's
Because
the
it took
kind
my
of-
knowledge. I was like, I bet that's cute. I bet I could sell it. And
Yes.
it did sell.
And isn't that cool? I do sell a lot of like vintage fashion apparel
Mm-hmm.
stuff myself too. And I just love that. Sometimes you don't know the brand or you don't know specific things, but
Mm-hmm.
you just like can sense it after you have experience, with those kind of items. And it's like, okay, that's a winner right there. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'll do some more research on it later, but it's cheap enough that like I'm going to go for it. And
Yeah.
then you end up selling it in, 10xing plus your money. It's so fun.
Yeah,
It's
and
the
then
best.
I mean, you look kind of ridiculous in the store, but like I'm on eBay, like at the store, like looking up the items, like seeing what I could resell it
no
for.
shame in
So,
that game.
Yeah,
It's fine with
so
me.
product research.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, there you go.
Shout out to product research.
Lightning round.
All right.
Here we go.
Okay.
You ready for some lightning? Okay.
I'm ready.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Cats or dogs?
I have 2 cats. Cats.
I also have 2 cats. Morning person or night owl?
I guess morning person.
Because that one's a person?
My manager lives in the UK. Shout out to Kirsty Kyogen. Love Kirsty, but yeah, so I wake up very early these days.
Awesome. Well, I don't know if you're like super thrilled about that, but at least you do it. and good
I'm a
for
morning
you.
person. Yeah.
Okay, you actually are. Okay, you're not forced to be a morning person. Good. Awesome. Well, you passed. You passed the lightning round.
Cool.
Thank you so much for being our guest today.
Yeah, thanks. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was awesome talking with you.
And we are back. The whole crew is back. Anna, Glenn, how are you today?
So good.
Doing good. Love the interview. So
Okay.
we have some good stuff to follow up on that.
Yeah, it was fun doing some interviews while we were on campus, but now we get to bring it back to our home base and kind of dig into it a little bit deeper. William was an awesome guest.
Yep. And I did have a category breakout session with him, so stay tuned on eBay Open. Me and William digging a little bit deeper on, obviously the streetwear category. So I guess let's expound a little bit more and give our different takes on the interview that we just heard. Obviously, as William said, it's a newer category. It's streetwear is very fashion driven, obviously. And when we talk about eBay, how does eBay link to that, or how is eBay representing streetwear? I'd like to ask this question to Glenn. I mean, he's been the person that has the most experience.
Been out in those streets.
Wearing he's
stuff.
been in the streets for a while. So, Glenn, what do you think about eBay and streetwear?
I mean, it's a beautiful combination, of course.
Oh, beautiful!
But-
Like, nice choice of words.
But man, I feel like streetwear has like gone into so many different directions that it could just be anything at this point. I mean, he talked about being a Supreme and Off-White, which of course that's like immediately what you're gonna think.
Yeah, like the brands, right?
Yeah, exactly. Even going on like the Whatnot side, that was kind of like the driving force between all of that, right? Like streetwear and Supreme stuff that was just ridiculously priced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$200-$300 for stuff. And then he started talking about running and golf and utility vests.
I mean, pickleball.
And-
that's a
Pickleball.
vibe now, right?
Yeah, that's true. So I guess some more like outgoing outwear type of stuff, outerwear that, yeah, it's definitely changed. I mean, I know with me selling hats, like it's like a weird in between, sports fans with streetwear. Like I remember people used to wear like the trucker style hats, and then now truckers are coming back. Now like no one really cared for like A-frame style hats, and now they want the A-frames compared to like fitteds, and people used to never curve the fitted, and now that's
everybody
all they
wants
do.
to curve.
Yeah.
And speaking of like hats, right? Like we talk about sports fans, and back when I started selling, those would be under sports memorabilia or sports souvenir or something like that, like
Fan
right, Glenn?
shop. Yeah.
Like fan shop, right?
Oh, yeah, right.
And I feel like now I would be kind of like maybe confused on where I would list it under, because a lot of the people that are rocking it are not even a fan of the team. Perfect example is me. I love the Toronto Blue Jays.
Blue Jays.
Like,
Blue
were
Jays,
they
right?
again?
I like the bird, right? I like the bird logo, right?
Yeah.
And there was I think about 2 or 3 Hat Club exclusive, and I was rocking him, and everybody's like, "Yeah, go Canada!" And I was like, "Oh," I'm not from Canada, I'm from Cincinnati, and I was like, "No, your hat." I was like, "Oh."
Okay,
Go
but-
Philippines.
But if you had your own country, wouldn't it be called Canada? I think it would.
Of course, Anna always bringing those.
Yeah, more like can Anna. Duh.
Oh.
Wow. I don't know, Glenn. You're the only safe one in
I
this
know,
equation. I
safe
think.
one. Yeah, I think Ken has a good point though with the teams. I
You can
mean,
have
I'm a
whatever mascot you want.
Yeah, exactly. I like the Chicago, like the White Sox hats.
Yeah, and they suck, right?
They suck. Yeah, they're one of the worst teams. Even though I know nothing about baseball, and I remember one time I wore like a Kansas City Royals. It was like a vintage tee. Oh, you know what? I also wore my Cincinnati Reds jersey. And some guy was like, "Oh man, the Reds right now, blah blah blah." He's like, "What do you think?" And then I'm like, "Oh man."
You're like, I don't, sir. I don't.
I don't think. Yeah.
You should have said, man, I like red. You know, with the white. You know,
I
accent.
do like red.
You know what I did tell them? I was like, "Oh yeah, like oh man, my friend's from Cincinnati."
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, that's cool." You know
The
what?
end.
So-and-so. Yeah, exactly. I don't
Oh
even know
my
where I
gosh.
went from that. But
You should have said like, "Hey, here's his number. Go text him and see
Go
what he
text
thinks."
him. Yeah, see what he thinks. Can I eat now?
That is
Yeah.
funny though. I mean, I feel like that points right back to the idea that streetwear can be anything. And to me, like,
Yeah.
that's a little confusing. I feel like I didn't grow up with a lot of actual fashion sense of any kind, so I kind of that just seems really
That was literally streetwear.
Yeah, I know, right? It seems abstract to me, but this is, by the way, if you're listening to this episode, approximately when it comes out, it's New York Fashion Week.
New York
So
Fashion Week.
this
Baby.
is a timely conversation, you know, but it's kind of like, what is that magic ingredient that makes something fashion, right?
Yeah.
And streetwear definitely seems to be on the forefront of that right now.
Yeah, and
You
like,
don't have to know the team or
exactly
or
I
the
mean,
brand or
the
you know
brand,
it's
right?
more
I
the
think-
aesthetic a lot of times. Yeah.
I think that's a pretty big shift compared to what I envisioned fashion was then, because you know when you say fashion, it's like I immediately say high end fashion, expensive, and I was actually just browsing eBay Live earlier because eBay went live with Linda's Closet and they did a runway, and I was looking at these pieces that they were just showing, and I'm just like. Like that's fashion, right? And that's obviously it's I don't know it because it's not my taste, it's not my vibe, but I would go to a point like, yeah, it may look high end fashion, but if you rock it at a sneaker con or at a comic con or at a con or convention, that's very streetwear. Put some Jordans in it or some New Balance, it's like streetwear, comfy vibes and stuff like that. So I think I would say eBay is on track, you know, on capturing that kind of demographic or styling that they're not putting brand first, right? Because I think like the hype could have been great to begin with, but we know what happened to hype. Now Supreme tees are easily accessible, so there's no hype around it. So now you have to rock Supreme tee because you like the design, not because it was limited or it was you know, hard to get. Going back to that focus category for streetwear, Anna, what's your take on that?
Yeah, well, I like how William was saying like they're focusing more on like cores, right? Like cottage core, or, like business core. But yeah, I mean, streetwear, like we've kind of had this conversation before throughout the last couple of years, especially about focus categories, how like they kind of tend to get a lot of attention, and then people, especially just like sellers who sell in other categories, get, I would say, maybe a little jealous or at baseline a little annoyed because they constantly have to hear about the focus categories. But, you know, something that's awesome about focus categories is that it brings so much business to the platform, and you're actually, you know, seeing people who spend money in focus categories spending even more money in other categories. So that's kind of like worth noting here that, oh, here's, you know, if streetwear is kind of rising up and taking the place of other categories that have been a focus in the past, like sneakers, right? We would hear that from sellers before of like, oh, sneakers. Like
Sneakers again,
all they ever
right.
talk about is sneakers, but it's like, now we're going to be hearing a lot about streetwear. So A, brace yourself, but B, streetwear is a pretty broad category, and C, people who are on eBay looking for streetwear and getting that kind of fashion experience, you know, shopping the look, like doing that kind of stuff, are going to be on the platform spending their dollars on a lot of things, not just streetwear.
Yeah,
I wish I
think
had. Oh, sorry.
ahead.
I was going to throw in that I wish I had some sort of like a fashion sense and streetwear type of credibility. But being a dad and an eBay seller, my odds are against me. They're a little stacked.
dude, you're actually in right now.
I'm in
The
right
dad
now.
vibes. Come on, what you talking
Yeah.
about? Do you have a
Those
New Balance?
all-white
Do you have
New
a New
Balance
Balance?
and the tall socks.
I don't have
Yeah.
any New Balance.
Oh, you gotta get some New Balance. You gotta shop. I think yeah.
So I should look like a golfer? Like I need like
No,
like
no, no. And Anna said it. You get New Balance. You get tall socks.
Yeah.
You get wear your shorty shorts.
And whatever jersey you want.
And then whatever.
Doesn't matter if you know the team or like
Yeah.
the sport.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
already got this.
Okay, we're
You
getting
have
somewhere.
all
Yeah,
the
you-
pieces, Glenn.
Yeah, you have. I mean, dude, throw in all the hats, the trucker hat or something like that. You could have some, relaxed, chill vibe. And I think what I like about that kind of vibe is like all colors are welcome.
Yeah.
Different colors. You don't have to match. Like
Yeah.
I've struggled for the longest time about matching, and then I actually bought non-black T-shirts lately, and
What?
like I'm kind of like oh, they don't
Who
match.
even
but
are
it's
you?
the vibe, right? So.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get there. You're there. You're there.
Okay,
You just
okay.
have to rock it, and then with a baby in hand, you're the cool dad at
The
that
cool
point.
dad.
Yeah.
Well-
you talked about Ed Hardy and True Religion stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is wild.
That
Yeah.
is
I mean,
wild.
And before that, sorry, Anna, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I have a shameless plug to make about True Religion because it is New York Fashion Week. I'm actually doing my 4th eBay Live this week. It's on Tuesday. So if it's not yet Tuesday, then you have time to come and join my eBay Live. But I'm doing a bunch of denim. Like it's all denim, and I definitely have some True Religion jeans in there.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's
so-
gonna be in. It's gonna be in.
Yeah, it's really fun. But I find myself, even though I've only done a few lives, it's all been kind of within the umbrella of apparel.
Mm-hmm.
And I find myself saying this a lot when I'm showing and featuring items. Like, it just depends how you style it, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the heart and soul of how I understand like personal fashion and streetwear, especially to be like you're saying, Glenn. It's like, well, if I put this or that, like, is that it? Does that work? Like,
Yeah.
does that count? And it's like, yeah, it's just your personal expression. So even if it doesn't match or it's like counterintuitive, it has some contrast, like, that's what it is right now. So I think
Yeah.
it's really interesting. You have to have some imagination to put it together in like an intentional way, but it doesn't have to be in a cookie cutter way.
Yeah. Which is going back to, I think streetwear is really like self-expression, right? I feel like that's kind of the season you're in. Like for me, I fell in love with the utility vibe. It's because I've always been kind of like
Utilitarian.
DIY project-y mode.
Yeah.
So, like I gotta wear my cargo pants. I need pockets to put my, extra drill bits and whatever if I'm doing some work stuff or like building stuff. And then, I would go to like the runner vibe. That's just because I just got out of the gym and that's all I throw. I would just throw in a long sleeve dry fit tee, and that's it. And then it goes with the whole outfit. Like JC likes to rock the belt bag and the crossbody belt bag.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like it has to be purposeful, because like what I don't like when they talk fashion is the inconvenience. Like I don't want to be inconvenient to rock something and not comfortable while doing
Right.
things.
It's got to like fit you and fit your life.
Yeah. Talking about fashion and this trends coming back, Glenn, we talk about Ed Hardy, and we've talked about like people finding Ed Hardy at Ross. What do you think about that? You think it's something that people should take advantage of?
Probably depending, I guess, like how much it is. I don't know what the prices look like.
You gotta comp for
because
sure.
people have been posting for
Yeah.
sure about it. So I mean, if that trend is going, you should definitely pick that up. I mean, about to say, bootleg tees aren't in anymore, or just kidding. Remember bootleg tees, and like,
Yeah.
and then of course with dunks and like the the I mean, I guess you can wear like camel pants or like
Yeah,
olive
it's the
green or,
it is the kind of like the Bass Pro Shop vibe. The like
yeah.
what do you the leafy camel looking
Yeah.
ones, like the hunting. What is that, Anna? What's that hunting camel looking that has
more
like
like cargo. I
What's
guess.
it
Cargo.
called? Or
yeah? What's the pattern called? I
oh
don't know. I mean,
man,
it's
putting me on
camo
the
still,
spot.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
It's-
but it's like a certain.
yeah,
Real tree
right.
camo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
real tree. That's
Real
what it is.
tree,
It's
yeah.
real tree. Yeah, you got it. You got it. You know what's funny, Glenn? Like, remember those real tree Air Force Ones back at Burlington? People
Yeah.
probably would want them now.
Yeah.
Should have hung on to those
Crazy.
suckers.
It got so cheap.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
remember that time we were just getting garbage bags full of them? Like,
Yeah.
it
Did you
was
already
just-
sell them all?
Yeah, we already sold them. It was like $22
Oh.
or something like that.
Wow.
And they were like $200 retail, and they were like definitely hunting vibes. If we had them now, we probably would have made more money. But you know, we
Other
we-
trends, I guess we've seen the short shorts, like the Nike.
Yeah.
They're not mesh, but they're like the.
They called is it nylon? It's not
Yeah,
nylon.
no,
It's
I forgot
polyester. Polyester. It's
Yeah.
Is it like a
polyester.
basketball short, like kind of perforated?
No, it's the one that sounds like this when you walk.
Oh yeah.
Right, that one.
The
yeah.
windbreaker
Yeah.
style.
Yeah,
Kind
that
of
one.
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are in. I don't know what's in for summer. Then I mean, now that summer's coming to an end, but like,
Yeah.
Oh, crop tee for dudes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oversized crop. I couldn't
man.
get in it. I couldn't get in it.
With like mom jeans, like how do you? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess some guys can do that. I don't feel like every guy would do that.
you know what's
Right,
also
right.
in right now is WNBA.
Oh,
Like, people love-
rock. They
Oh.
rock them. They rock the
they've
gear.
been. I've been seeing like dudes rocking more of the jerseys.
Mm.
I've
Wow.
seen even
That
the
is-
more like vintage ones, like
Oh, that would
Lisa
be fire, right?
Leslie or like
If you're a Laker fan, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, let me get the Laker. Is it Sparks?
yeah,
No.
Sparks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sparks.
so a lot of the WNBA stuff is on a rise. I mean, you guys mentioned Affliction. I have a Misfits Affliction one that I got. I don't know how much I paid for.
See,
it
I
at the
told you,
time.
Anna. Afflictions within this
I
podcast.
know,
Where's
and I was
yours?
like, oh,
Wow.
man. I
And
did
the
look
odd
it
man
up.
out.
Somebody did sell it for 100 recently.
Okay.
I should
but
probably
that-
get rid of it.
This brings up another question that listening to our interview with William made me think about, which is, you know, the idea of using your own personal style as your sourcing guide, right? Like,
that's true.
I feel like that's maybe just getting softer. Like for me, I always have followed that to a point, but I also have, because I'm not like really in a niche, is a little easier for me to kind of justify that. I'm like, well, if I like this, someone else will like it. That alone is probably not a wise tool to make all of your sourcing decisions by.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe that combined with some comps research, now that product research is on mobile and it's like much easier, maybe there's some sweet spot in there. But like, what do you guys think about that? Because on one hand, we have this, it's not quite a dichotomy, I guess, but on one hand, you have where like streetwear is kind of anything. It's kind of can be kind of anything and everything, depending how you style it, etc. There still are trends though, and then there's also like your own personal, like, you know, you
Yeah.
guys are
I
not,
see.
I assume, going to be rocking the men's cropped tees,
Yeah.
but you know, so do you still source those? Do you just focus on the things that you personally would also like? How much does that factor into our sourcing?
Yeah.
When it
I-
comes to like fashion, like how do you
I
think that works?
I think for me,
At this
there's like the two sides. Like there's my go-to stuff that I've had experience with or I like personally. But one of the things that I've done, special with different brands that I've kind of like crossovered. For example, the New Balance and Converse. Those are the two ones that wasn't really my main when I started, but kind of like added it in. My rule for the ones that I'm not familiar with, I always go to like the extreme, weird looking.
Oh.
I even had Crocs at one point. So because those are things that stands out.
Not just Crocs. Talk about the Crocs you had. They were
Oh,
amazing.
it was a cowboy boot Crocs. You guys have seen how those
They were
resell.
amazing.
Yeah, they had Spurs actually too. And I would go there because like I even have like a Converse currently right now. It's pink, and it's men's Converse. It has a cowboy boot with a flat. It's a cowboy boot style, but flat. What do you call that? A flat nose? Is it nose or flat?
Like the toe?
Tip.
Toe
Yeah,
box.
flat
Oh.
toe. Yeah, flat toe box.
Oh,
And-
like a square toe.
Yeah, a square toe. That's what it is. A square
Gotcha.
toe. And at first I was like, oh, this is a weird buy, right? Like this
Yeah.
is just so out of there. But it was a collab. It was weird. And like when I bought them, it was like we were buying it like sub $25, and then they sell for 99.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
so I've and anything I cross over with is I go for the weird, especially even New Balance. I go with weird colors, flashy colors. So that's kind of like what I've done with when I'm adding different brands that I'm not familiar with to begin with. It's like I don't have a kind of like an inclination anyway on this brand. Might as well go loud,
Go
weird,
bigger,
extreme.
go home. Yeah.
Yeah, go. That's kind of like my strategy. So I don't know about you, Glenn. What's your strategy lately on those different things that you come across with?
Yeah, I would agree that like weird always sells. So anything that has crazy colors, crazy patterns, you just definitely look at it and double the research.
Have you had
on
any
it.
experience with jerseys like that, weird, that sold well, that surprised you?
Any weird jerseys? I mean, yeah, I think less and less people are caring for like more old school players and going for more like, like they make. Like Nike makes City Edition for every team every year.
And that's
Wow.
weird
Just
colors
like-
for sure, right?
Yeah, they do like something kind of out of the norm. They do it for baseball and the NBA one. So that's been, pretty caught on. I guess some of that stuff there. I would say if you really, really want to go through it deep, you'd have to follow like all these influencers, all the media stuff, all the celebrities to see what they're like.
Says the
rocking.
influencer.
Did you see my eyes glaze over?
I know. There's no way I would have time to go through that, look through that. It's way, and even some of the stuff that they always show like NBA league fits.
Yeah,
Like when they walk through the tunnel and they're always wearing like crazy stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. Like it's just like an NBA dude. I just figured just wear like regular stuff, but these guys go all in.
It's like a fashion show for them.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. And so you'd have to follow like I think all these accounts, pick up all the trends, and just be on top of things wherever you're sourcing. Where it's thrift or in
You have to be a
whatever.
Russell
Yeah.
Westbrook fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Weird
So-
weird
I
styles.
mean, hey, it's a business. Got to put in that work.
yeah.
If that's your niche,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean,
So-
that's where it's interesting to think about following your own style, I guess, because that requires, it's all implicit, right? Doesn't require any work. But I think it probably for best results has to be paired with some research of some kind,
Right.
right? I mean, I can't tell you how many times I, just because I'm a curious person, right, heard about some kind of item or some brand or something, and then saw it after that, started seeing it out in the wild and being like, oh wow, I never would have picked this up if I hadn't heard about it or like basically done some research, right? Where I learned about this thing, now I know that it's valuable. It looks inconspicuous, like out in the wild among the racks of thrift stores or whatever, but now I know about it, and therefore now I'm going to see it. Like, that is really powerful. Just beyond your own style. Like, maybe you would have been drawn to those things anyway, and maybe not. Maybe you would have just assumed, oh, it's just some random brand. No one's going to search for this, right?
But never know. There's somebody out there looking for everything.
So it seems.
Yeah.
Well,
You're like, and don't
Hopefully
tell me-
they're looking on eBay for it.
right? You're like, and don't tell me inflation has a big thing about this because people are still buying trendy. Anything that look good, they'll spend that
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say that's a true statement. Just caveat to as long as they're not that expensive anymore. Because if it's good deal and if it looks good, people will buy it. People
Yeah.
would buy it. I think that's I think fashion is definitely, being trendy is a luxury, but I
Yeah.
think, people live for that. And I think it brings a different happiness and fulfillment for a lot of people that are really into that thing. And, I think going back to, a focus category, streetwear, actually it goes to pre-loved. Pre-love is getting a lot of love lately.
Yeah.
Just self-promoting the ad that eBay has been pushing out there, and your boy is in one of them. It's
Yes.
pre-love. It's pre-love. Those were pre-love listings. So
Yeah,
so I think grade your closet. Let's start there.
for sure. I'm actually a pre-loved partner with eBay because almost all of the apparel stuff that I sell is pre-loved, and I think it's really cool like how eBay is promoting that, just because there's like obviously sustainability implications, but it's also so much about like what William was talking about with your personal expression, right? Like yeah, people might have limited spending power right now because of inflation or different times, but the things that they're going to prioritize if they're buying any clothing or apparel or whatever, or shoes, is like the things that are going to make them feel the most like themselves and be the best expression of their personal style. So people are still spending money on that regardless. So, at that point, it does become about like making those things available, even if they aren't brand new. And also, even thinking about like eBay Live, it's like helping your buyer connect with the item and learn like what's the story of this item, or what's the hypothetical story of you and this item, right? Like how could this amplify your personal style and fit you and be just right for you? So there's like a lot of really like personal psychology, I feel like, behind all of this, but it's cool to be a part of a platform that's like recognizing that and also trying to kind of keep more stuff out of the landfill. Like I'm no sustainability champion on all fronts, but I've always cared a lot about that because there's just so much abundance and so much waste in our culture, and that's always bothered me. So
So
Exactly.
I think it's a pretty insightful interview with William. Huge shout out to William for hopping in for an interview, and just want to remind everybody to make sure, if you're listening on this as we release this Monday, to try to hop in Anna's live with the New York Fashion Week. Get your was it Rock Revival?
Denim.
Get your denims.
All kinds
and
of
your
denim.
Rock Revival from Anna.
Oh yeah. It
and,
was no, it was True Religion.
Oh, True Religion. Maybe some Rock Revivals too.
Maybe. You never know.
You never know. So, huge shout out to eBay again, our sponsor for this podcast, and also Soul Ledger, bookkeeping made easy. Make sure you click on the links down below, and also don't forget to register for eBay Open 2024. We're like 2 weeks out, and there's gonna be a surprise in there that you don't want to miss.
Seriously,
I urge
amazing.
everybody to watch it live. I think the first 5 seconds will surprise you.
Oh,
Probably, but I think also watch more than the first 5 seconds.
Yeah,
I'd
the
advise
surpri-
watching.
Yeah, the surprise is
Participate.
just a cherry on top. You know what I'm saying? It's already good, and you just get a cherry on top. But yeah, so we will see you on the next episode. Peace.
see ya.
Bye.